thank you for joining us. I'm Cody. I'm a marketing specialist here at QNAP, and I'm here with our product manager, Deval.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
And today we're talking about QNAP's integration with Mac's Time Machine Backup. We'll give a brief introduction to what Time Machine is, then we'll cover how QNAP integrates with Time Machine, and then Deval will give us a live demo to show how it works. And at the end, we'll open for Q&A time where you can ask any questions you might have. Time Machine Backup is Mac's backup solution that enables Mac owners to back up their Mac's entire system and contents, and includes versioning, enabling users to roll back to retrieve files that have been deleted or load their entire system in the event that their Mac is lost or damaged. Time Machine uses a mount drive to make the backups too. And so QNAP supports the ability to mount shared folders from the NAS, and even has a specific Time Machine section within Hybrid Backup Sync, which enables you to easily implement and manage Time Machine backups from one or multiple Macs onto the QNAP. Hybrid Backup Sync 3 enables you to back up your Time Machine backups either to external storage, other NAS, or cloud storage. Hybrid Backup Sync 3 also conveniently consolidates numerous backup functions in one place and allows for customized scheduled backup jobs. So this way, as you're making your Time Machine backups to the QNAP NAS, you can also back up your backups for even better security and better data integrity. And in addition to streamlined backup features, QNAP's RAID protection makes the QNAP an excellent choice as a repository for Time Machine backups. With RAID redundancy, users can maintain their data in the event of a drive failure. QNAP supports RAIDs 1, RAID 5, RAID 6, RAID 10, RAID 50, RAID 60, and RAID 0, although RAID 0 is a configuration with no redundancy. And with that, I'll hand this over to Deval so he can present the live demo to give us a hands-on look at how this works.
Thank you very much, Cody. All right. So good morning, everyone. My name is Deval. I'm the product manager here at QNAP. And today we'll be looking at how to back up your Mac via Time Machine. You can do multiple backups with your QNAP NAS. If you have a single QNAP NAS, you can actually back up multiple Mac machines into your QNAP NAS. In this way, you are able to ensure that you have all your Mac backups at a single location, since you already have a QNAP NAS. And then you can use that in case if there are two ways to restore on a Mac. So in case if your Mac completely dies, you can restore via the Time Machine backup, as well as in case if you have a corrupted file. If you have a corrupted file, you can always recover that corrupted file using the Time Machine versioning option as well. So even if you delete the file by mistake, or if you deleted the file a long time ago, and if you want to restore that, let's say in future date and time, you can always use Time Machine to restore it back into a previous state, or just restore that particular file from the Time Machine backup. So that's another great feature that Time Machine offers. Now, QNAP already supports Time Machine backup using the hybrid backup sync option. So QNAP NAS can be your Time Machine server. So do that first. Ensure that you set up your QNAP NAS for Time Machine. So I'm going to log into my QNAP NAS. Once you log in, you can look for an app called Hybrid Backup Sync. Let me show you that app. All right, you can visit App Center. and I look for hybrid backup sync application. All right, once you download the application, okay, you can find this application. It's a free application from our App Store. You can click on the hybrid backup sync application that you have installed on your NAS. And then you have to visit services. Now, this is where you're going to be able to enable the hybrid, the time machine server feature. Without this, your time machine would not be able, your Mac would not be able to look up QNAP as a time machine server. So under services, you have to go to time machine option on the left and ensure that it's enabled. Now, there are two ways, or actually there are two options within the time machine. Now, you have to make sure that which operating system you're using on your Mac. So you have to look up the operating system by going to the Apple icon above and see which version of OS are you using. If you're using anything above 10.12, then you can use a top option, which is broadcast selected folders to time machine via SMB. So because that's the new way the time machine uses for backup. It can use SMB to back up to, or Samba to back up to your QNAP NAS. But if it's older operating system like Mac OS 10.11 and before, it can only use AFP. Now, AFP does have lower security, so it's not recommended. So if you are able to update your Mac, we recommend doing that, so you have better security when doing time machine backups as well. Now, before we select a folder, we want to make sure we create a folder on your QNAP NAS that can support time machine backups. To do that, you have to go to Control Panel, Shared Folder, and ensure you create a folder. You can name it anything else you wanted to. I can name it as Apple Time Machine Server. If you have multiple volumes, you can select which volume you wanted to back it up to. You can also encrypt that folder if you wanted to and put a password as well. But we're going to select next. Now, if you have multiple users that are going to be using this for time machine backup, you have to ensure that you give them read and write, not read only, but read and write, so they can write to your NAS for backups. So I have myself as a user, so I'm going to read and write that. Make sure, hit next. Now, the only thing you need to change here is, and this is where users forget, because this is a new step that we have introduced with the new time machine backups, that you have to enable this folder for time machine folder or Mac OS. So ensure that you check this box whenever you create a folder for time machine backup. Before, this was not an option. Since there's new steps involved, this is one of the steps that we have introduced to ensure that your time machine can be able to back up to your QNAP NAS. So make sure that you check this box and then hit finish. Just click OK on any prompts that you get. Now, if you're using a QTS Hero operating system, there's a different method of creating the folder. I'm going to go through that as well, so we are on the same page. So now this is the one that we were looking at before. The steps I've provided is with the QTS operating system, but the new steps I'm going to provide is for QTS Hero operating system. So if you're using QTS Hero NAS, then this is the steps you need to follow. Now, the steps for hybrid backup sync remains the same. You go to App Center, install the application, go to Services, and ensure that you have Time Machine right here enabled. And then again, it still creates the two different folders that you like that you have on the NAS. So select which folder you wanted to. Sorry, which operating system. So if it's Mac 10.12 and above, then you can select the first one. If it's 10.11 and below, then you can use the second option. Now, you can select the third option, which is create a unique shared folder and NAS account for time machine backups. This will create a single folder called time machine, and it's a hidden folder on your NAS. also it will create a username and username on your NAS, which is called Time Machine, and you can put the password, and you can select the capacity for that. Now, this was the old method that if you remember before, you used to use this method. Now this way you only use one account to back up all your Macs. Now the only reason that we don't support or we don't recommend this is because we don't know which username is backing from which Mac. If you uncheck this box, every user, you can create a unique username and password for every user that's going to do the backup, and then they can use their own account, so you can see who's backing up to your computer and how much data they're using. So that's another feature as well. Once you select these options, hit apply. Now let's go to control panel and create a shared folder on QTS Hero for Time Machine. So create a shared folder and select, just you can name anything as a folder name. Again, if you have multiple folders, you can select which folder you want to back up to. You can leave it as thin. So if your Mac needs more data, QNAP can add that from storage pool. And you can start with folder allocation with whatever you like. I would recommend at least the amount of storage that you have on your Mac. So if it's a 1 terabyte hard drive, then start with at least 1,000 gigabytes or more. And then under here, we don't need to change anything else. You can leave the compression on, the performance block, ensure that you have 128K, and then hit next. Again, you have to provide them with the username and password and ensure that read and write. And then again, select this box for Time Machine backup folder and hit next and hit finish. That will create the folder for you. All right, so once you have the folder created, you have to go to your Mac and then download QFinder. Right. Once you have QFinder downloaded and installed, click on your NAS and click on Network Drive. Enter your username and password. You can click on Remember Me, so you don't have to enter that every time. Hit OK. Now this is the only first time you need to do for this setup. Once you have added the folder for Time Machine, you don't need to repeat these steps. All right. Ensure that you have the correct IP address. If you have multiple IP addresses, such as a Thunderbolt NAS, you can select the Thunderbolt IP address, so it's much faster for backup. Or if it's connected through your network, you can select that as well. The protocol, ensure that it's SMB CIF, and you can check the box for add mounted folders to favorites. Hit OK. You can select the folder that you created and click on OK. Now this folder will be under your favorites. And once you have connected the folder to your Mac, click on the Apple icon, go to System Preferences, and look for Time Machine. Now, I have selected another folder, so I'm going to now select the folder. So this is the screen you'll be seeing when you do the first Time Machine backup. Click on Select Backup Disk. Now select the new folder that you just added. You can also encrypt the password, encrypt the backups as well, and you can see the user guide how to encrypt the backup. So in case if you are using somebody else's QNAP NAS for backing up, you can encrypt those as well. Click on Use Disk. You have to enter the username and password for your QNAP NAS, not for your Apple Mac computer, but for your QNAP NAS. Right. Once you have done that, it will just start doing the backup, and this make sure that you have backup automatically checked. So whenever the QNAP NAS is connected to your Mac, it will start doing the backups, and you will have multiple versions of a backup. So this is how easy it is to set up a backup. Now let me show you how to restore, how the Time Machine looks when it's already backed up. All right, so right here, I already have backups that are already running for a few days. So let me go over here and show you that. Go to time machine, and it's actually doing the backup right now. So it will do the backups automatically on your QNAP NAS, but this is how it looks like when it's doing the backup. Now, if you wanna, let's say if you wanna restore something, you can go to time machine, and it will show you all the different versions of your backup. You can select a particular version and click on restore, and it will start restoring the backups. Or you can just restore a particular file within that folder. Now, if you let me go back, minimize a few screens right here. Now, if you see, my desktop had few files that I deleted from my Mac computer. Now I need to restore that particular file. It's not within my trash folder since I emptied my trash. And so let's say if I want to restore, just go to search and click on time machine. And the QNAP will now show me all the versions that is being backed up to my QNAP NAS. So this is information that is being pulled up from my QNAP NAS. Now see, yesterday or today actually, I had additional files on my desktop that I deleted. So I can just now either restore the whole point, or I can just copy these new folders and then click on, these new files and click on restore. And then QNAP NAS or the computer will now start, see, and the files will start getting restored and it will be copied back into my desktop. Now, this is how easy it is to do a restore from your time machine Mac from your QNAP NAS to your computer as well. You can restore either certain files or folders, or you can restore a complete version itself as well. So if you go back to time machine, it will take a few minutes. And this will show you all the versions that the QNAP NAS has been backed up. So I can go back you can also go here as well. And then you can see the timeline as well. It will show you what timeline it has to restore. And then once you select the timeline, you can click on restore, and QNAP NAS will start restoring from that timeline. All your files will be replaced from the version that you had before. If you have any duplicates file, Apple will ask you if you want to keep the original, keep both, or replace them. And you can select apply to all, and it will keep whatever selection you made. That's how easy it is to do a time machine restore from your QNAP NAS. Now, all the information that you saw is restored from your QNAP NAS. Nothing is stored on your Mac computer. Everything is restored from your QNAP NAS, and QNAP NAS will now show you all the information as well. Let me, before we go to Q&A, let me show you something else as well. On your QNAP NAS, you will see the folder that I've been using for backing up my Apple Mac computers, and you will see how much size, what's the size it's being using, how many folders, how many files it has. You cannot do a restore directly from here, but if you want to access the files and folders, you can, for your time machine, you can go to Mac, and it will create a folder for every new computer that's been backed up. And you can click on that, and it will show you all the sparse bundle, all the information that is being backed up to your QNAP NAS. You still need to use the original Mac to restore the files, but this is how you can see the files. You can also use hybrid backup sync to back this up to another computer if you wanted to. So you can select a new backup job So we recommend this if you want to have a third copy of your Mac. So you can select the folder that you have, hit next, and you can select a remote NAS. You can also upload this to any cloud services as well. So this is just to ensure that you have a third copy. Some users wanted to, what we recommend is having a 3-to-1 backup strategy, which means that you have 3 copies of your data in 2 different mediums and 1 offsite. So 3 copies will be your Mac, which is the original copy, your QNAP NAS, and 2 different mediums will be your Mac computer, and as well as 1 offsite could be another QNAP NAS, which is sitting at a different location, or it could be a cloud. So this is a 3-to-1 backup strategy, 1 offsite. So 3 copies will be your main Mac, which is your original data, the QNAP NAS, which is your second backup. The third backup will be your offsite location, which could be another QNAP NAS or cloud service. 2 different mediums again would be your QNAP NAS and then the cloud, and then the 1 offsite will be your cloud storage. So that's how you can achieve your 3-to-1 backup strategy even with your Mac backups as well. So that is it. That is it for today's demo. Let me give it back to Cody.
All right, thank you, Deval. And so we'll be opening up for questions now. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and just type them in the question field.
All right, we have another question. It says, you have to create a shared folder in order to use Time Machine Backup feature. Yes, you have to create a separate folder for Time Machine Backup if you want to back it up to your QNAP NAS. Without a folder, QNAP NAS cannot back up. If I showed you before, if you check the box under Hybrid Backups, it will actually create a folder automatically called Time Machine. You can use that folder as well, or you can create your own shared folder on your QNAP NAS. But you have to create a folder to start using that feature. Another question we have is, how do you protect against ransomware? That's a great question. So we have, it's actually a question that cannot be answered in a couple of sentences. You need to, there's a lot of steps, a lot of things we need to do to protect yourself. We actually have previously done a workshop that actually deals with how to protect your NAS and also all the security settings you can do as well. But we are actually scheduling another workshop for security as well. I'm hoping to do that in March. So keep an eye out for that. And then once we have that, we'll actually be doing another workshop for exactly that particular subject line. So, but again, we already have, if you go to QNAP College on our YouTube channel, you can actually look up a lot of videos that we have already done that shows you step-by-step instruction how to protect your NAS, as well as what prevention steps you can take in case if you have a ransomware, or how you protect your NAS for your ransomware as well. Another question is, do you have to have a static IP address on your NAS? No, we don't need to have a static IP address on your NAS. You can leave your NAS under DHCP because it's connecting through QFinder. QNAP will update the IP address. Usually, the routers today are really smart enough anyway. So once you connect your NAS to your router, the router notes down the IP address and the MAC address of your QNAP NAS, and it will always give out that IP address. Usually, it does not change. If it's a really old version of the router, then maybe changing IP addresses, but you don't need to have a static IP address on your QNAP NAS. Can the backup be used with a legacy QNAP drive? I would need more information on that question because I'm not really sure if I understand that. Can the backup QNAP be used with the legacy QNAP drive? Can you elaborate on that question, please? That would be helpful. Another question we have is, does each remote Mac need a separate shared folder? No, you have to only create one shared folder. Once you add that to your Mac computers, each Mac computer will create its own separate folder automatically within that shared folder. So only one shared folder is needed, and then you can point all your Mac computers to that particular shared folder. Now, if you have a small business and a lot of users are using Mac in your office, you can actually use the QNAP NAS as a time machine server for all your backups for all your users. So every user in your office can make sure that they have a backup available. So in case if the office Mac goes down, you can always restore it. So at least your office files are backed up into your QNAP NAS. Question is, an older QNAP drive, is there a release date limitation? If you're talking about if an older QNAP NAS with the older firmware supports time machine, the time machine backups the time machine server feature has been available since a really long time. I think it's over 10 years. So even if you have an older QNAP NAS, this feature will still be available. Now the new features that I mentioned, creating a separate shared folder and creating different users, may not be available on the older version, but you still be able to do a backup on the older QNAP NAS as well, if that's the question that you were asking. Another question is the backup a free download? Yes, the hybrid backup sync feature is a free app available from our app store, so you can use that. So you don't need to pay for either for hybrid backup sync or even to use the time machine server feature as well. Mac also does not, or Apple does not even charge for Apple time machine backup. So even the Apple software is free, as well as the QNAP hybrid backup sync feature is free as well. No subscription is required. And that is it for, okay. The question is, I don't see the app on my QNAP. If you don't, because this is not a default app that is already installed, so can you visit App Center on your NAS and then look up hybrid backup sync, or you can use HBS as well, that you can download the application from your QNAP NAS. Another question is, will this webinar be available online after this event? Yes, we'll be having, we will be uploading this on our QNAP YouTube channel, QNAP College, and then with the whole recording of this webinar, as well as a step-by-step guide as well. All right, I think there's two more questions. Can QNAP support cloud backups, time machine backup? So yes, QNAP, so it does not do cloud backups directly, but you can do a backup on the local QNAP NAS using the steps I provided, and then once you have that folder, you can use the hybrid backup sync to back up that folder onto the cloud, so you at least have the third copy as well. All right, perfect. Seems like there's no further questions. Thank you everyone for joining, and back to you, Cody.
All right, thank you guys. Keep your eyes open for the follow-up email as well. Once we get the video up on our YouTube, we'll also link that in the follow-up email. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.